Welcome to the Leap Stories, and my guest today is one fabulous lady called Hanna Meirelles. Hi, Hanna.
Hi.
And Hanna is coming from Brazil. I'm quite happy that I've been traveling the world with the Leap Stories over the last week from the US, Canada, Europe, and I'm in Brazil. Thank you so much for being with us.
My pleasure.
And my first question to you, as always, is could you tell us a little bit more about yourself, who you are, what you do, in your own definition, really?
All right, that's great. Thank you.
Listen to this, guys.
So I'm Brazilian, but I actually like to say that I'm a world citizen because I've lived in many different countries and places around the world. I'm a development facilitator, so I facilitate training programs for leaders. So I do leadership development all over the globe. And besides of that, I also help and support teaching entrepreneurs around the world. And I have my newest project, which is a foundation that we call Development Village, where we support kids to see different opportunities of life and career so they can actually grab those opportunities in the future, and they start working on that, as soon as possible, along their lives. So we just started this project. It's very exciting. And,
so that seems to be like your little baby at the moment,
yes,
right?
It is. I'm really excited about it because puts together and connects all what I've been doing during my whole life, like I was a human resources leader for many years of my career, and work
in
corporate, yes. And then I moved much more towards to education, so education of adults, facilitating their development of leaders in the world, and then now having that opportunity to bring the kids along, kids and teenagers from like 6 years old to 15 years old into this world where they can develop themselves from a technical or business perspective, but also from a personal perspective, in terms of their beliefs, their mindsets, their values. So we work a lot in terms of, what are the values that they have, what do they want to believe in their lives, what do they want to build.
And expand the possibilities they can have for the future career or life in general, right?
Exactly, yes.
Love it. And could you if I were to ask you, what really triggered that passion for human capital development in any of those elements?
All right.
What really triggered it? In a simple
I think for me, mostly...
Because it's very personal, I have a feeling, right?
Yes, it is very personal because my mom and my dad were they're great parents, and priority number one for them was always education. Even if they didn't have enough money when we were kids, me and my sister and teenagers, they did everything they could to send us to the good schools, where we could have access to great education. And me and my sister, we grabbed those opportunities and we tried to do the best out of it. So for me, it was always about because I have opportunities that other people, sometimes I saw they had that amazing opportunity to have great education, but they just wasted, And for me, it was like, oh my God, my parents don't have the money, and still I'm having that opportunity. So I better grab this and do the best I can to be the best version of myself, And so for me, it was always trying to do the best with whatever I have. And so that was one of my motivations. And the other one was that because of that, studying those kind of schools, sometimes I have access to kids and families that they were much more, let's say they have much more advantages than I had. They were richer, they have more resources. And for me, seeing all of that inequality in terms of my life and in their lives actually pushed me to strive for that excellence, to do better, to build something, sometimes out of...
Could you say also provide a sense of belonging to all the others that you kind of felt that didn't have at the time? Yes,
absolutely. I remember that story when I was 10 and a friend of mine was having a birthday party, and she, in school, she was delivering invitations in the bus, and then I was in the back of the bus, anxious to
get yours,
to get mine, and then she
only to hear
yeah, and then she came and she said to me, Hanna, I cannot invite you to my party. And I found strange, and I asked her why, because she was inviting everybody else in the class except me. She said, look, I cannot invite you because you're poor. And that shocked me because I felt completely
isolated
and excluded, and I didn't want anybody to have that feeling. So it became part of my mission in life to include everybody. I wanted to do exactly the opposite. I did not want people to have that feeling of not belonging, not being part of something. I want everybody to feel included, you know. So I made my best in my life to include as many people as possible in my projects, to include people like, no matter if you're a man or a woman, no matter if you're rich.
And it seems like celebrate diversity. Celebrate diversity as a resource, not something to be afraid of.
Yes.
And to run away from.
Yes, I mean, for me, diversity, it's not only one of my main values, but it's one of my causes in life. It is like include diversity is part of who I am, and that's what always I wanted to do. That's what I noticed.
And I want to ask you, the next thing is like, I want to ask you, how do you define what's your definition of a leap as a concept?
A leap for me is like it's when we are brave enough, when we have that courage to do things that many people don't have the courage to do. Sometimes it's not even, it doesn't even necessarily to be a big thing, but sometimes it's one step that some people would do, but other ones wouldn't do. And when we do that, have that bravery, you know, that courage in your heart to be yourself and fulfill your mission and just do what needs to be done, that's the leap for me.
And I find it fascinating that so many times, like you said, it doesn't have to be a big thing, but usually creates a ripple effect.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So if you were to look back on one of your leap stories and to summarize for our audience, for you guys, it's like, what was that one thing that you learned and really drives you today?
All right. So I think one leap that I've been through my life was probably a situation when I was living in Australia, and I was working with clients in there, and they were really kind of intimidating. And it was a very hard year for me. It was a very difficult situation, and in the process of serving those clients in the best way that I could, doing my best for them, making sure that their business worked well, that they were reaching their own goals, and that they had the expectations and needs met. In that process of serving, I lost myself in it. I forgot who I was. I forgot my own values. I was stressed and exhausted.
And what was the lesson that came out of it?
It was, for me, it was like, I realized that lesson afterwards. Like, not
straight away.
Afterwards, not straight away, but it was like that. It doesn't matter what happened around me. The world does not circle around me. It is about, what am I gonna do with it?
Yeah.
Who am I really in this process, and how am I going to contribute with it? But I realized, and my lesson was like, it was not about me. They have their own issues and their own problems, and I was allowing those issues to
become yours. To become yours.
Exactly. To become mine. But then I realized that it's not like that, and it's not supposed to be that way. When I was in the process, I could not realize. I had to get out of it to see and to understand it is their issue. And I can have tools and to help them out with that, to solve their issues, but it's not my problem. And I should not be stressed out of it or exhausted out of it or destroying my life because of it. And that was when I learned, that the
it's not all about
much
you.
More, exactly. It's not about me. The world's much bigger than anything else.
Thank you so much, Hanna.
You're welcome.
Thank you guys for watching, and as always, still the next story from Barcelona. Bye-bye.
Bye.